How's it going? So I'm Trevor Anderson, senior marketing student at the University of Montana, and I'm here today with Peter Vandergrift, and he is Costa Del Mar's Fly community leader. Peter, nice to see you today.
Good to see you.
Peter, first of all, tell us a little bit what you do at Costa and what your job title is.
Okay, so it's as you mentioned, it's Fly Community Leader, and so I'm in the marketing department of Costa. We have a more innovative, well, we feel like it's an innovative way to market to our constituency. We look at our customer base as kind of split up into these different communities, and instead of having kind of regular marketing managers in place, Costas decided to really look at someone who lives and breathes that industry and put them into place to really be a lens to make sure that we're speaking authentic language, that our products are engaging to that community, and that we have the connections and the channels in which we're really getting through to the leaders in that community. So the way that, just to give you a little background on Costa, Costa is a little over 30 years old. It's an American brand. It was a great American story of four folks got together on an offshore fishing boat in Florida and said, hey, we can make the best polarized sunglasses in the world. Let's do it. It started out of a garage. It's still based out of Daytona Beach, Florida. It has been recently purchased by Essilor, which is a French optical group, which is about $5 billion. So it's a giant. But they purchased us because of our growth and our unique marketing strategy, which has a focus on conservation causes. I can go on about what I do.
That's great. That's great.
So that's a little bit about Costa. Our kind of brand pillars are, explore. Our archetype is an explorer. So we feel like if the brand was a person, it would be someone who wants to see what's around the next bend. It's also to protect. We're very deeply invested in what we call causes. And to sort of get back to what I do for the company, I look at all of our fly fishing channels and interactions. And the way that we kind of would segment that is really in four ways. We look at leaders, which would be professional guides, they would be media leaders, they would be people whose voices are important in the industry. Then we look at events. So that would be anything from our sponsorship of the Fly Fishing Film Tour to smaller events, whether they're consumer shows or other sorts of shows. Things like fishing tournaments fall in there. With fly, we don't have a whole ton of them, although there is quite a circuit in Florida that we do. We have another one called Chatter, which is a newer way to look at grassroots marketing. It's how do we feed our message out through this now varied channel of voices when we're talking social media, as well as small web-based film or TV. So that's kind of how our chatter piece plays in there. And finally, our cause piece, which are what are the relationships that we have in the conservation community that mesh with our belief that if you love something, you want to protect it. So we are the largest donors for Bonefish Tarpon Trust. I'll just talk about the fly community. We're also a major donor of Trout Unlimited, and we also have funded a groundbreaking program there called Five Rivers, which sets up college fishing clubs, and we're kind of working on growing that from about 40 to 45 right now to about 100 in conjunction with Trout Unlimited. We're also a strong advocate and corporate sponsor and on the corporate council of TRCP, which is Teddy Roosevelt Conservation Partners, which is strong lobbying and advocacy group based in Washington D.C. that has a good pull around things like hunter and fisherman rights, as well as access issues, as well as conservation issues. So that's a little bit about kind of the broad overview.
Yeah, that's great. And so, with all that being said, and especially with the advance of technology in today's different marketplaces, where do you see your job as marketer for Costa going 5, 10, 15 years down the line?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Our community leader strategy is something that is very new. And Al Perkinson, my boss, who Fly Rod and Reel just made Angler of the Year, by the way, he really dreamt this up, taking little bits and pieces from other places. And it's been wildly successful for us. Another huge brand in the outdoor industry has adopted the exact same format. That's Yeti Coolers, who have seen an amazing growth curve in I think they're not even 10 years old. I think they're 8 years old.
Right.
And they went from whatever to
Blowing up everywhere.
Blowing up everywhere. 600 million, 700 million is probably what they'll do this year. So I see this developing more and more. You've always had kind of these segment managers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is that these community leader segments. I think they'll grow to have sort of more and more influence. The reason that I think you'll continue to see this develop is that even in a large company, Costa is a large company with fingers in lots of different things. When you have someone who's tied in with the sort of heartbeat of that, of that sort of niche within the fishing community, it means you're nimble. It means that you can analyze what the next social channel might be, analyze who the up-and-coming pros are, analyze, what causes are really affecting that industry at that moment, rather than being locked into kind of the, what would I call it? We look at partnerships, rather than sponsorships, right? We don't,
more personal interactions.
Absolutely,
And you think that's going to stay in the future?
I do. I do. I mean, I still think it's all relationship based. Now, we're always looking at those, the way that you can kind of establish, where you are in the marketplace is certainly by your sales and revenue growth, but a lot of it's about awareness numbers.
Right.
So being able to look at those and analyze, what's working and what's not, I think works well with the community leader basis, because you're able to be more nimble. If we see, the explosion of online magazines or the explosion of certain blogs, we can, adopt our strategy to speak with those people.
Right.
It also keeps you authentic. You sort of think about some brands. I'll pick on a brand. Let's pick on North Face, right?
Right.
Or Columbia. Let's pick on Columbia, right? So, what were even the roots of Columbia at this point? Who are they even selling to at this point? You could say, well, they're selling to everybody, and their numbers are, look good or whatever. But I feel like there's a false bottom.
Yeah, they don't have a specific market that they're targeting.
No, and there's no tie-in with their their past. I mean, you look at all of the great brands, and there's that tie-in. I mean, we always look at brands like Patagonia, where not only is there a tie-in, there's also a figurehead, and Yvon Chouinard. And a lot of my role is to not be a Yvon Chouinard type, but certainly be
definitely have someone that the people can connect with.
Someone that people can connect with. And my background is I spent 18 years as a guide and outfitter. I worked at Sims Fishing Products based in Bozeman. I created their whole pro program. I've been an author. I've had fishing experiences all over the planet. I know many people in the industry, and that just kind of helps me, keep the pulse of what's really going on in an always changing industry, and try to be on the forefront.
Yeah, That's great stuff. So yeah, we'll end it on that. Thanks a lot, Pete.
Okay.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Glad that could help.
Thank you.
So.